Have you ever stopped to think about what it really takes to age well? We've all been told to stay active, keep moving, and never slow down. But what if I told you that doing less could actually help you feel better and live longer, especially after turning 70? In this video, we're diving into 3 simple yet life-changing habits that have helped many people redefine how they experience their later years. These are not your usual aging tips. In fact, the last one might just be the answer you've been looking for, and it could completely change your approach to growing older. Stick with me until the end, because not only will you uncover the secret to greater energy, but you'll also learn how to find deeper joy in your everyday life, no matter your age. Before we begin, if you find this video valuable, I'd appreciate it if you could like and share it. Your support helps spread these lessons to more people. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. If you enjoy this content, comment with the number 1. If not, comment with 0 so I can improve my content for you. Now, let's dive in. Let's talk about something that might surprise you: the power of mindful rest. A few months ago, I met David, a 75-year-old retired marathon runner at a community center in Chicago. His story completely changed my understanding of well-being. David spent his whole life believing that being constantly on the move was the key to a long and healthy life. But he soon realized something crucial. David had always taken pride in being the most active person in his retirement community. His days were packed with activities: morning jogs, afternoon tennis matches, evening walks. He was convinced that the more he moved, the healthier he'd be. But despite all this, he started feeling worn out. His joints ached, his energy levels plummeted, and unexpectedly, his blood pressure began to rise. This was his wake-up call. Then, an unexpected injury forced David to slow down. What he discovered during this period changed everything for him. He realized that rest wasn't about doing nothing. It was about doing less, but with intention. This practice, which he now calls the golden formula, transformed his health. At first, the idea of slowing down felt unnatural to him. He had spent a lifetime believing that activity equaled health. But after his forced break, he learned that quality mattered more than quantity. Resting intentionally helped his body recover, and he began feeling better than he had in years. David's experience is backed by science. Dr. Sarah Johnson, an expert in aging, has spent over 20 years researching the effects of rest at the Mayo Clinic. Her studies have shown that older adults who practice strategic rest, intentional moments of pause throughout the day, experience significantly better health outcomes than those who push themselves constantly. She explains, after 70, your body needs more recovery time. It's not laziness, it's smart self-care. So how does mindful rest look in practice? David starts each morning with what he calls his morning mindful moments. Instead of rushing into activities, he spends 15 minutes sitting on his porch, sipping his coffee, and watching the world wake up. It's a small shift, but it makes a huge difference. I used to think that sitting still was a waste of time, David told me. Now, I realize it's what fuels my energy for the day. Throughout the day, David takes intentional pauses. These are not naps, though short naps can be beneficial. Instead, they are moments where he resets, like taking 10 minutes to sit and breathe after running errands or pausing before starting a new activity. These breaks act as a reset button, restoring energy and allowing him to move through his day with more vitality. The results? David's sleep improved, his blood pressure stabilized, and he felt more energized. He still plays tennis, but now he enjoys the game even more. I'm not just doing more, he says. I'm doing it better because I'm well rested. Let's try something together right now. If you can, take a deep breath with me. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Feel your body relaxing into your seat. Take a moment to notice the sensation of stillness. This isn't about doing nothing. It's about giving your mind and body the time they need to reset. It's a small but powerful gift you can give yourself. Here's something important to remember. Rest isn't the opposite of activity. It's what makes meaningful activity possible. Think about it. When you're well rested, don't you find that everything becomes easier? Your movements feel smoother, your mind is clearer, and you start to enjoy what you're doing rather than just pushing through. That's the magic of rest. It doesn't just restore you, it enhances everything you do. Dr. Johnson's research revealed something fascinating. People who incorporate mindful rest into their daily routines report a 40% increase in their energy levels. But that's not all. They also experience better balance, improved cognitive function, and stronger social connections. Why? Because when you're not exhausted, you're more present. You engage more with the people and activities around you. You're able to fully show up for your life. So, what does this mean for you? If you want to try this for yourself, start small. Tomorrow morning, before jumping into your daily tasks, take 5 minutes to just sit quietly. Don't plan, don't worry, just be. Notice how this small moment of rest shifts your entire morning. This is your first step toward mastering the art of mindful rest. And remember, doing less doesn't mean you're giving up on life. It means you're making your actions more intentional and fulfilling. David sums it up beautifully. I'm not doing less with my life. I'm living more by doing less. But there's something even more surprising about how mindful rest connects to finding joy in the smallest moments of life. Stay with me, because this is where it gets even more interesting. If you're still here watching this video and finding these insights valuable, drop a comment with the number 1 below. It helps me know that you're still here with me, and I appreciate your time. Have you ever noticed how slowing down can transform your experience of life? When we take a step back from the constant rush, we begin to see the little things that were always there but often overlooked. Instead of always chasing big achievements, we start finding happiness in the simple, quiet moments that make life truly meaningful. Let me share a story that changed my perspective on this. Meet Linda, a woman from Denver who spent her entire life as a high-powered executive. She thrived on the pursuit of success, always pushing forward, always setting new goals. Even after retiring at 73, she couldn't shake the habit of staying busy, filling her days with plans and activities. She believed that only grand accomplishments could bring her happiness. But something unexpected happened when she started tending to a small garden on her patio. It was a simple setup, just a few pots of herbs and flowers. She didn't expect much from it, but as she cared for these plants, she found herself noticing things she had never paid attention to before. The way the morning sun illuminated the dew on the leaves, the way the plants stretched towards the light, the delicate dance of the breeze through their branches. These small moments, which once seemed insignificant, began to bring her a deep, lasting joy. Linda describes it as a revelation, an entirely new way of seeing the world that had been right in front of her all along. The fleeting excitement of big achievements had never given her this kind of contentment, and research supports this experience. A study from the Positive Aging Project found that individuals over 70 who take pleasure in small daily experiences report 60% higher life satisfaction than those who continuously chase major milestones. It turns out, a fulfilling life isn't built solely on grand moments. It's woven from the small, everyday ones we often ignore. So how do we start cultivating this kind of joy in our own lives? Linda calls them her happiness anchors, simple practices that shift our focus from what's missing to what's already here. These little rituals can completely change the way we experience life, and I want to share them with you. The first is what Linda refers to as the morning marvel. Each morning, take a moment to appreciate something small. It could be the way sunlight spills across your room, the comforting warmth of your first sip of coffee, or the sound of birds greeting the day. Just notice it. Don't rush past it. Let it be a reminder that beauty exists in the most ordinary moments. Next, try engaging in what I call sensory awareness. Throughout your day, pause and tune into one of your senses. Feel the texture of a soft blanket, breathe in the fresh air after rain, or listen to the hum of life around you. These aren't just observations, they're invitations to be fully present. When we stop treating the world as something to get through and start engaging with it deeply, we unlock a new level of appreciation and gratitude. And then there's Linda's idea of connection spots. These are small, intentional moments of connection with yourself or others. Maybe it's a daily phone call with a close friend, a quiet moment journaling at your favorite cafe, or exchanging smiles with your neighbor. These simple acts foster a sense of belonging and remind us that joy is often found in the presence of others. Here's something even more fascinating. Science shows that these practices don't just make us feel better, they actually change how our brains function. Dr. Robert Lewis, a researcher at the Center for Aging Studies, found that people who regularly notice and appreciate small pleasures not only experience greater happiness and improved memory, but also develop stronger immune systems. When we shift our focus from chasing more to appreciating what already is, we're not just improving our mindset, we're enhancing our overall well-being. Let's try this right now. Take a moment to look around. Is there something nearby that brings you a sense of joy? It could be a photo of a loved one, the cozy embrace of your chair, or the way the light filters into the room. Pause and appreciate it fully. These moments might seem insignificant, but they have the power to reshape how we experience life. For Linda, happiness is no longer about big milestones. It's found in her morning routine, the scent of fresh herbs she grew herself, and the friendly greetings from passers-by. I used to think joy was something you had to chase, she says. Now I know it's something you simply have to notice. And here's the best part. Anyone, anywhere, at any time can practice this. You don't need expensive tools, elaborate plans, or hours of free time. You just need to slow down, open your eyes, and let the beauty of the present moment reveal itself. Before we move on, let me ask you, what's one small joy you've noticed today? Maybe it's something you normally take for granted, but when you stop to appreciate it, you realize just how profound it truly is. Let that be your starting point for discovering deeper satisfaction in your life. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, comment the number 2 below. It lets me know that you're still here with me, and I appreciate you being part of this journey. Now, let's move on to another powerful lesson, living with gratitude. Let me take you to a small cafe in Boston where I met Bob, an 84-year-old man whose perspective on gratitude forever changed the way I view life. Every morning, precisely at 7 o'clock a.m., Bob sits at his favorite window seat, sipping his coffee in quiet reflection. In his hand, a simple notebook, his gratitude journal, filled with entries of appreciation for the little things most of us overlook. He once told me, "When you train yourself to see beauty in the ordinary, life becomes extraordinary." An elderly man sits quietly in his favorite corner of the cafe, a small, well-worn notebook resting beside his cup of coffee. There's something about him, an air of peace, a quiet contentment that makes people want to be near him. But what truly sets him apart is his simple yet powerful morning ritual. One morning, he slid the notebook across the table with a knowing smile. "Do you know what makes life truly rich?" he asked. I picked it up, expecting to find pages filled with grand dreams, bucket lists, or profound philosophical musings. Instead, I saw the simplest of notes. "The coffee tastes particularly good today." Sarah called. Her laughter is always a joy to hear. Watched the sunrise. Felt grateful just to see another day. It wasn't about chasing extraordinary moments. It was about cherishing the ones already present. He had discovered a secret that many people overlook. True happiness isn't found in the future. It's experienced in the present. When you're younger, you're always waiting for the next big thing, he explained. The next promotion, the next holiday, the next milestone. But with age, you learn that the real treasure is appreciating what you already have. This wasn't just philosophy. It was backed by science. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly experience better sleep, lower stress levels, and even improved heart health. But this practice isn't about forcing yourself to be thankful for everything. It's about noticing the small joys that are already there, even on difficult days. Every morning, before even opening his notebook, he takes 3 slow sips of his coffee. With each sip, he pauses to reflect on one thing he's grateful for: the warmth of the cup in his hands, the rich aroma filling the air, the quiet peace of the early morning. Sometimes he simply chuckles and says, "Today, I'm just grateful for this coffee." It's not about dramatic gestures or major changes. It's about creating a daily habit of acknowledging what's already good in life. Here's something that has transformed many lives: the evening gratitude ritual. Before bed, take a few moments to reflect on 3 small things that made your day a little brighter. It could be the laughter of a friend, the coziness of your favorite chair, or the beauty of a passing breeze. Acknowledge them. Say to yourself, "That made my day better," and let that warmth fill your heart. Bob, as he's called by his cafe friends, also has something he calls gratitude connections. Every time he speaks with his children or grandchildren, he makes a point to tell them something specific he appreciates about them. Not just a simple "I love you," but something deeply personal. "I love how you always remember to check in on me on Sundays," or "Your laugh reminds me of your mother's." These specific expressions of appreciation have strengthened his relationships in a way that simple words never could. Let's try something together. Take a deep breath and think of one person in your life who makes a positive impact. It could be a neighbor who always smiles at you, a colleague who shares a kind word, or even a barista who remembers your usual order. Hold that person in your thoughts for a moment and simply feel gratitude for their presence. You might be surprised by how much this simple act shifts your perspective. What's truly beautiful about gratitude is that it grows. Bob tells me that ever since he started his morning ritual, he has begun to notice more and more things to be grateful for. Little treasures that were always there, just waiting to be seen. It's like training your eyes to find treasure, he says. Once you start looking, you realize it's everywhere. And that's the magic of it. The more you pay attention to the good in your life, the more you find. It fills your days with light. Others have noticed this transformation in Bob, too. Regulars at the cafe have begun asking about his notebook. Now, a small group gathers weekly to share their own moments of gratitude. They've even given themselves a name, the Grateful Hearts Club. Bob laughs at how corny it sounds, but he's seen firsthand how powerful it is. The simple act of sharing gratitude has built a close-knit community, one that supports each other through both joyful and difficult times. It works, he says with a smile. You just have to try it. Of course, not every morning is easy. Some days feel heavier than others. There are moments when life is overwhelming, when the world seems a little too loud, a little too demanding. But even on those days, Bob insists, there's always something. Maybe it's the comfort of a familiar routine, the kindness of a stranger, or simply the gift of another day. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard moments, he explains, but it softens them. It's a quiet companion that reminds you there's still beauty to be found. Margaret, another member of the coffee group, recently joined in on this morning ritual. Between taking life at a slower pace, finding joy in simple things, and practicing gratitude, she confesses, "I've never felt more alive." No matter our age, our circumstances, or the stage of life we're in, there is always room for gratitude and connection. So take a moment now. Think about your day so far. What's one small thing you could jot down in a gratitude notebook? It doesn't have to be big or profound, just real. Maybe it was a kind word from a friend, a favorite song playing on the radio, or the warmth of the sun on your face. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. That's the beauty of gratitude. It's always there, always waiting to be noticed. I hope this video has given you fresh insight into a more balanced and fulfilling way of living. What have you taken away from it? Is it the power of mindfulness, the beauty in simple moments, the practice of gratitude? I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elderly Hacks. Let's continue this journey together. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.